Alright, hello everyone. In this video, you will practice a few problems that got to do with vector additions. So what I want you to do is look at all these figures right here, and I want you first find what is the resultant. Is it vector A the resultant, vector B the resultant, or vector C? You have to pick one, and also you need to write down the equations you need to write a vector equation for that, right? So pause the video, try yourself before you continue on watching. So for this figures right here, you have vector A is the resultant because according to the rule, from the tail of the first vector to the head of the last vectors, that's the resultant. So A is the resultant based on that rule. And the equation is resultant A equal to vector C plus vector B. That gives you resultant A. So for the next one, the answer is also vector A. Vector A is a resultant because from the tail of vector B to the head of vector C, right? So we can write that equation by saying that vector A equals vector B right here plus vector C. So last one, the resultant is vector C because according to the rule again, from the tail of one vector, of the first vector, which is the tail of vector A, to the head of the last vector, which is vector B, that is the resultant, which is vector C. And the equation is vector C is equal to vector A plus vector B. For this one, I want you to sketch the vectors additions and the resultant of the following. So you need to look at this figure and create a sketch of vector A plus vector B, vector D, and also sketch the resultant. Do that for this one and this one too. Pause the video and try it. So first thing we need to do is we need to sketch vector A, and I'm just shifting that vector down, and it doesn't change the magnitude nor direction, so therefore it's just the same vectors. You can do that for vector, you can shift it around. So the next thing I do is vector A plus vector B, so I need to take the tail of vector B and put it to the head of vector A and draw that, okay? And then plus vector D, I'm doing the same thing, put the tail of vector D to the head of vector B. And the resultant vector is from the tail of the first vectors to the head of the last vector. That's the resultant vectors. So this one, you probably kind of know how to do it now. So same thing. So vector A first plus vector C, and then I'm plusing vector D, which is right here, and that gives me resultants R, vector R. So for the last one, vector B, I'm going to draw that, bring it down, and then vector C, tail is to the head of vector B, and then vector E, tail is to the head of vector C, this is the tail, and the resultant is from the tail of the first vector to the head of the last vector, that will be the resultant. So that's pretty much it for this problem. I will see you in the next video. See ya!